Hello, Professor. It's me, Isabel. Back at it with another artifact proposal, the final. For my rhetorical artifact, I have decided to criticize a TED Talk called Stoners Coming Out. This TED Talk was obviously produced by TED Talks, and this video or episode is available for free on YouTube. You just got to look it up or look on TED Talks website and you should be able to find it there. But TED Talks is a nonprofit company devoted to spreading ideas and information in the form of short, powerful talks. TED is actually short for something which I had no idea until I researched. But TED actually stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. But TED doesn't just cover those topics, it covers pretty much almost all topics. Yeah. So this TED Talk was produced to try to break the generalization and stigma that marijuana smokers or stoners or potheads or however you may classify them, kind of to break the stigma that they're lazy, dumb, unmotivated, lazy people that everyone pretty much seems to think of stoners. It's also about the helpful, positive benefits that weed can do for people, such as help with arthritis and inflammation and nausea. And the list continues. It goes on and on and on. Not just those three things. But so Stoners Coming Out was recorded in November of 2015 in Seattle, Washington at a TEDx event center. The presenter who is speaking on this TED Talk, he's a successful and talented writer, playwright, journalist, and performance artist. And his name is David Schmader. I don't know if you've heard of him, but this is the first time that I've ever heard of him. But he seems like a great guy. When he was talking during his little speech, he made it informative. He made it funny, which made it so easy to just like be engaged to the video because he was making it interesting. And he made it seem like the topic was very important and relevant in today's society, 2020 especially. The talk was produced in order to make a case for thinking more broadly on what a marijuana user is and can be, as well as the helpful benefits that come along with it, which is even better. So studying this piece of discourse is socially significant because marijuana is very beneficial, like I said, in many ways for literally millions of people and can be used for many different things, not just one. It's just not like a normal blood pressure medication where it's specifically for that. It can be used for many problems, like I said, nausea, fatigue, nausea, inflammation, like chronic headaches. Like you can use marijuana for all three of those things instead of having to take three separate medications, which is super great in my opinion because it's less medication. But anyway, let's move on to the speech. But so in this speech, Schmader explains how the government basically cast a dark light over marijuana many years ago and classified it as a Scheduled 1 drug, which makes no sense. And it kind of bugs me knowing that it's a Scheduled 1 drug. And because of this, it's against the law to do research on its medical uses, which is really not good because many of us know that it's beneficial, more beneficial than it is harming. In this instance, when he stated that it is against the law for research to be done on the medical uses, in that instance, he uses the narrative strategy by telling a story as well as giving historical information of how the government created tension and how the government was the enemy of the stoners just butting heads. So he gives us a story and some information on why and how it happened. Schmader gives a metaphor in his presentation stating that he had stayed in the closet as a stoner because he didn't know how to change people's perceptions of potheads, because they already had that idea of them being lazy, and he didn't think that his one opinion would make anyone's opinion change because of him. So what he did is he used concepts from the stoner domain in relation to the gay domain, because he's also gay, and he had said that he stayed in the closet as a gay man because he couldn't change the perception of a gay man just how he can change the perception of a stoner. So by using concepts from the stoner domain and the relation to the gay domain, he connected those two, and he stated that in the past, certain types of gays, like, for example, the flamboyant ones, the drag queens, and as well as butch lesbians, were the majority of the people coming out, and or were the majority of the people that were out. And and as for the side of the weed, he stated that weed's visibility parade is led by Cheech and Chong, Snoop Dogg, and unlucky subjects of weed bus. So knowing all that, he kind of feared that he would fit to those stereotypes, which he didn't want to, because he wasn't either of those. Yeah, he had said that he loves drag queens, but no, he's not one, and he, probably doesn't want to be classified as one either. But moving on to in the speech, I realized that Schmader he used number 2 and 3 of the tenets of the narrative paradigm by Walter Fisher, who we went over his reading a couple of weeks earlier. And so for those 2 tenets, 2 and 3, tenet number 2 it being good reasons constitute our arguments, and 3, narratives are framed in terms of history, biology, and culture. So he does this by providing facts, like super good facts and stats, as well as historical data. He stated that weed is legal in some states, but in others, you can be given a life sentence for just a small amount of weed, whether you're selling it or whether you just have it on you. He also informed how marijuana can help with many issues, such as reducing arthritis, inflammation, and nausea and seizures, like I mentioned earlier, but it can also even stop seizures altogether in some cases, which is truly amazing to me that this plant just has all these beneficial, positive things that can help. But with this information that Schmader gives us, it shows us how lopsided and unfair the current marijuana laws are, and why we need to strive for integrity in these laws. Schmader explains how, listen to this, he explains how literally 10,000 people die from opioids each year, but not one in the history of the world has ever died from using marijuana. Beautiful. But yet it's scheduled as it's classified as a Scheduled 1 drug. Anyways, he uses this information about opioids versus weed deaths as a way to help the audience understand how safe marijuana actually is. And just because a doctor prescribes you medicine does not mean in any way, shape, or form that it's going to be 100% safe. No, not no. But Smader explains that the stereotypes for marijuana users, such as gateway drug, people using medical marijuana just to get high and not for their medical problems, um, or this is a big one that everyone thinks, or how marijuana will make you stupid or insane. Because these are just myths, Schmader persuaded the audience that it's important to debunk them in society and remove negative views of many people because like they're not true. In some cases it might be for very minimal people, but for a lot of people it's not true. And to like debunk these stereotypes is really important. With stories and information, Schmader did a super, in my opinion, he did a super great job at demystifying the stoner stigma, and he even made a case for the positive benefits of marijuana. So I really enjoyed analyzing and criticizing his piece of work and seeing how he was trying to persuade the audience into, you know, thinking what he thinks. And so I really enjoyed this assignment. So I hope you enjoyed it too. So thank you, Professor. Yeah.